Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka Jay Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Wednesday, August 9th of 2023. I definitely appreciate you all joining me. Thank you so much for your viewership and your subscription. If you're watching this and you aren't subscribed, welcome to the club. You know what I'm saying? Be sure to subscribe too, because I do make daily astrology content. And I also make some I do like vlogs occasionally, some gaming content, a little bit of everything, right? But it's mostly astrology. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I did last night do the tarot report for all 12 signs. So definitely be sure to check that out. There are timestamps in the description, so you can go right to the sign that you want to watch. If you go to my main YouTube page and you click on the live tab, it should pop up there for you. So definitely check that out. We had a lot of fun last night. It was definitely a very good broadcast. So, anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the transits for today. Well, y'all, as of the current moment, we have that moon finishing up here in Taurus, right? And of course, we have the sun here at 16 degrees of Leo. So we are coming off of that third quarter square of the moon. And now we're moving forward, you know what I'm saying? So that moon's going to come into Gemini in about an hour or so. And yeah, we're going to get a little bit of a refreshing energy as far as that goes. But over the course of the day, it is going to be building up to the square with Saturn. Now, the main thing of the day that we want to pay attention to, of course, is the fact that we do have Venus here at 22 degrees of Leo. That is making the square to Uranus at 22 degrees of Taurus. We're going to be feeling this energy over the next couple days. So, this is like I mentioned it in yesterday's video, and I will mention it here too. This is going to be a very interesting square, seeing as this is the second square, excuse me, not the third. This is the second square that Venus will be making to Uranus during this whole dance. It's doing the same thing with Uranus as it's doing with Taurus. So we got the first pass of Uranus. Now we got the second pass of Uranus, right? So what is this square all about? Well, you got to think, of course, Venus now here, she's sitting on the beach, probably she might actually have like a little bit of a sunburn too. You know what I'm saying? Like she went to the beach, was trying to have this hot girl summer and everything like that, and she got a little sunburn. Let's be real, she got a little sunburn. So now she had to wait a few days. She had to like kind of peel a little bit. You know what I mean? Her skin was peeling. She had to make sure she was applying like some cream to kind of help with the whole process and stuff. And she's trying to figure out, I was like, dang, did I even belong coming on this trip? Was I even supposed to be here? And then, of course, you have the square to Uranus. This is definitely going to be something that kind of comes out of left field. You know what I'm saying? Now, with this being in the deck and ruled by Saturn, which the moon, of course, will square today, this is definitely, like I said, this is something really coming out of nowhere. This could literally just be like, you're walking down the street and suddenly a familiar pops up and they're like, hey, yeah, so, and they just start talking to you and you look at this familiar, it's like, wait a minute, you're a squirrel. And they're like, yeah. It's like, why are you talking to me? I didn't know that squirrels could talk. It's like, oh yeah, we've always been able to talk. We just don't say anything to y'all weird ass humans because we don't want to get mixed up in your drama. I mean, think about that. I mean, shoot. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, right? I already know cats can talk. They just don't talk to us because if they could talk, they would get caught up in a bunch of our drama and stuff. They kind of already do get caught up on the drama because they are already kind of close. But anyways, like I said, this is the kind of energy where you're kind of walking down the street and yeah, and a familiar pops up, and then the familiar tells you about all of these things that you are. It's like you are the long lost prince or princess of the land of whatever, and you have to go through this portal and then you're going to be whisked away to this faraway land, and then you're going to this is where you actually belong. If you feel like you haven't really this is that sort of energy. It is that sort of energy, mainly because you have 2 + 2 is 4, which does come to the number that rules over Aquarius energy and Uranus energy. So yeah, I think with this square too, Uranus is definitely going to be very strong because it's at its degree that it would like to be at, 22 degrees. Now, in Venus and Leo it's frustrated. Yeah, Venus and Leo can be fun, but it also can be very frustrating because it's like we want things to go a certain way. We want things to be shiny and glamorous, and when it's not shiny and glamorous the way that we kind of envision in our head or in our heart, then we can be repulsed by the situation, even though it's a Venus retrograde in Leo it is like when the makeup does come off and you start to see the real rawness. This is like no filter kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? So like there's this element here with this square where it can feel like you're questioning, where do you belong? Do you, and being that this is Taurus, this does have to do with values. This has to do with the way that we ground ourselves. Yeah, there's a financial money aspect coming up here, especially with Uranus and this third decan of Taurus that's ruled by Saturn. So there's definitely this other element where it's like, and Venus is here in the decan ruled by Mars. Like this is the kind of square where it does feel like a potential. I'm kind of getting Cold War kind of elements. The reason why I'm getting Cold War elements is because, like I said, first of all, you're dealing with Uranus, which is a way far out there energy, and Uranus can kind of be cold and detached sometimes, right? Venus is in Mars, so there's this element almost where Venus wants to kind of be a little bit more, kind of go out there and be more expressive, and to, like I said, Mars is the god of war, so this is definitely an element where it's like people are going to start to question their alliances too. And it's not just people, but cities, countries, like entire countries are questioning their alliance, right? And there's going to be this element where it's like, ooh, like, I don't know if this alliance is really working anymore. Don't be surprised if you see some interesting things come up over the next couple of days. If you pay attention to more international politics and stuff and international news, this is definitely the kind of energy that's ripe for that, especially because it is retrograde. So it's going to be more of like the review period. That's why I don't think anything will per se happen today, but someone may publish their opinion on it too, especially with the moon going into Gemini. So this can evoke some sort of emotional response, and then being that it's in the decan ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is here in that second decan of Virgo, which is ruled by Saturn. A lot of things are coming back to Saturn. Look at this. They're in the decan ruled by Saturn. Uranus is in the decan ruled by Saturn. The moon just came out of that spot. A lot of energies are kind of going back to this area, right? So that's the thing about it. Even though Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, everything is kind of coming back to, well, is it spiritual in nature? And with Saturn going backwards, having a sense of time right now is like way off. If you find yourself just not being punctual at the moment, I'm not saying it's going to be okay. I'm just saying it makes sense. It makes sense why the timing of everything just feels off. It's because, first of all, Saturn is in Pisces, which Pisces is beyond time, and Saturn rules time. So Saturn's trying to actually like bring everything together and make things flow in a timely fashion, but can't really do that, especially because it's retrograde and going backwards. So she's kind of on vacation too. That's the other thing about this. Saturn's kind of on vacation. Venus is on vacation, but the vacation is not going as well as she thought it was going to go. You know what I'm saying? And then you have freaking you're going to have that moon moving into Gemini. So now when it comes to like our emotional nature, it's going to be, a little bit more spontaneous with that Gemini energy, where our thoughts can trigger our emotions a lot easier too. That's why you really want to be careful about the company that you keep during these times. It's very, very important. And I think we're all realizing that there's a realignment, if you will, that's going on right now. There's a realignment in our tribes, in the guilds that we are in, and you can see that people that were on one side, and that's the other part about this, is that because this is Uranus energy and because Venus is retrograde, in Leo, there's some people are going to have a change of heart. That's the other part about this. You may be surprised that people that were on one side of the fence completely flip to the other side of the fence. and vice versa. You'll be surprised. It's like let's just take a political example, right? You can have someone that always that grew up liberal, that grew up kind of like more on the left side and everything, and maybe they had some experiences that led them to become disillusioned with the left. Maybe they feel like the left has gone too far, and they decide to become more conservative and go on the right side, right? You can have it other way as well. You can have someone that maybe grew up on the right, is a little bit more conservative and stuff, but they can also see that maybe the right side, they're a little inept. I'm not even gonna lie. So, but there's also elements of that side that they don't necessarily agree with too. Maybe they meet certain people that kind of open up their eyes a little bit, so they end up shifting more to the left side. It goes both ways too. And I think sometimes we can get caught up in thinking that it usually has to go from one way to the other, but no, it goes both ways. So there's going to be there's like a changing of the guard. That's the kind of energy that this is. There is a change of hearts that a lot of people are having. So they are flipping teams, they're flipping sides. Some people are going to go play for their rivals now, and then they have to deal with that kind of energy. So that's kind of like, if golly, God forbid this ever happened, but that'd be like, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. That'd be like Jalen Hurts going to play for the Cowboys, which, oh, like, I love Jalen Hurts, but I would honestly become a hater if he did that. And then once he retired, I'd be fine again. But it's like, that's the kind of energy that we got going on. So don't be surprised if people have like a change of heart and stuff. Don't be surprised if people that maybe were against you before, or people that maybe didn't really support you really before, suddenly start to kind of come around and kind of see, you know, they start to see and understand your perspective a little bit more, right? That's really what this comes down to. Now, of course, as towards the end of the day, we are going to have that moon, which is going to square over to Saturn. This is going to happen around 7:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Being that this is at 5, this is actually the number of Gemini. So the moon being at 5 degrees, squaring this energy. But I'm sorry to say, Saturn's going to win this one again. It's definitely going to come back to, yeah, well, is it spiritual in nature? You know what I'm saying? And, is this the constructs that we have right now, the constructs that we have, that we are subjugated to, all of the restrictions and stuff like that, all of the senses of order, the way that we think things should look, um, you know, things are it's morphing, and we have to be able to look at these things from a different lens and a different perspective. But it's asking us is like, well, let's just take the Constitution, for example, here in America, right? Let's just take the Constitution, right? It's this document, and the Declaration of Independence, but it is this document that our society here in America was formed off of, right? And I think it's a beautiful document, but it is still a document in of itself, and even that is supposed to evolve. You're going to start to see people realize that these things that we thought were stable, these things that we thought were going to be that way forever, will also morph. So that means that if you're like, if you are like staunchly into, the Constitution and wanting to uphold it, maybe this is the moment where things start to transform, and not that we get rid of the Constitution, because I don't think that's the right thing to do, but maybe we realize that it needs to evolve because we have evolved. It's been 200 plus years since then. So now that things have evolved, we have to take these things to the next level, and we got to realize that everything is subject to change in time. So this squaring energy that we get, we're going to be really thinking about these sort of things now. And like I said, the funny thing is that the moon's going to call up Saturn, and the moon's going to be like, hey, so I just got done with, the Taurus energy. I conjuncted Jupiter, I conjuncted Uranus, some pretty crazy energies with that third quarter square to the sun as well. And I do feel grounded, but I do have some questions, and I'm curious to know what your opinions are. And Saturn's going to be like, yeah, I'm not really in the position right now to be really giving too much advice and stuff like that. I'm just trying to figure out what wormhole I just walked into. Oh, but I know, but yeah, but you're Saturn. You're like the boss. So can't you like, can you give me some? What can you give me to work with? And Saturn just starts speaking a language that you've never heard. Saturn's like, "Ooh, and then they just hang up. And then the moon's like, what the fuck do I do with that energy? That doesn't make any sense. But that's what it's going to feel like. It's going to feel like Moon in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces is like alien languages and trying to understand these languages, or it's like an emotion or a feeling that you try to put a word to, but there's nothing quite in the dictionary that can quite explain what you're feeling. So you have to go to a more spiritual and intuitive place, right? And that's really what this comes down to, you know? It is going to be a weird time where we start to see people change teams. We're going to start to see people, and this is based off of like the fact that Venus is, like I said, retrograding Leo for the first time in over 200 years, right? And of course, we have America here that's getting its Pluto return. So it's like this is a massive transformational time. So when these things happen, there's going to be a changing of the guard. People are going to be changing guilds, switching sides. We're going to be trying to figure out how to navigate this area and translate this area. Saturn's going to be speaking a foreign language to us, and the moon's going to be trying to translate it. But the moon's going to be like, oh crap. I mean, I just dealt with Uranus. You know what I mean? Uranus is already super out there, and now Saturn is talking crazy. Like, how and what's weird is like, how is Uranus more understand? How can I understand Uranus more than Saturn? That's the funny thing about this, is that the moon understood Uranus a little bit more than Saturn. But look at the decan that it's in. It's in the decan ruled by Saturn. So even then, it was still hard to deal with. It's like the moon could kind of make out some of what Uranus was saying using a little bit of context clues and stuff like that. But when it and the moon was thinking, it's like, okay, so I got to that conversation with Uranus. It was a little weird, but I was able to make it through. Hey, yo, Saturn, what you got for me? And Saturn's like, ah! And then hangs up. Because Saturn is trying to deal with the whole set of everything. And like I said, like the caterer is freaking late. The makeup person is late. So and so is in her trailer because she just can't deal with this shit and she's pissed off. You have like and it's kind of chaotic. And Saturn's trying to manage all of that. So she's retrograde right now. She's taking a break. She's smoking a blunt and trying to just kind of recalibrate so she can move forward and be like, okay, here we go, right? Because she's going to come all the way back to 0 degrees of Pisces too. So that's the other thing about this. You know, I think that's pretty much it for the day. I mean, yeah, of course, we have Mercury on Pallas Athena. We have the Mars quincunx to Chiron, which is building up as well as the Sun trying to Chiron, which is building up too. So, like I said, today's going to be a day where it's just going to, yeah, we're definitely are looking to find our tribe, and we're going to start experiencing this changeover and this changing of teams based off of your values. You may find yourself changing teams in some way, and you probably will to some degree in some area of your life, whether you're changing jobs, maybe your mind, your mind is changing up about a relationship or something like that. Maybe the person that you thought you was going to be with, or you thought that you was going to fall for, it turns out it's someone totally different. Maybe it's their best friend, and now you got to deal with that drama of falling for the best friend when you were kind of courting, the one person, and then you actually fall for the best friend. But maybe because the best friend kind of sent you a signal that's sort of like, hey, yo, I'm available too. And then now you got to deal with that whole decision, which can cause a bit of drama. I'm not gonna lie, it's that kind of energy. So yeah, let's get into the cards for today. All right, let's see what we got going on for this Wednesday, August 9th. It is hump day. So let's see what we got. All right, the card that we have for today, I have the Empress. I love this card. We have the card of the Empress. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a day where it's going to take on a Venusian like quality with this square. You have to really ask yourself, all right, what do I truly value, and am I willing to bring that value out? Am I willing to express that value? And when I express that value, will the people will the people that are around me more frequently, the people that I frequent their company, will they accept me when I actually express myself? If they do, amazing. If they don't, amazing. Why? Because both paths are going to lead you to where you are supposed to be. So if they do accept you and stuff like that, keep doing that thing, and you'll find that your relationships with these people are going to become a lot richer and deeper and more fulfilling and more joyous. If it turns out that they don't necessarily accept you, you will eventually move on, and you will find the people, and you will find your tribe and the people that will accept you, which will lead to a deeper, rich, more rich and joyous experience. So it kind of goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? We have that followed by the Three of Wands. He's standing out on this cliff, getting ready to embark and go down into the valley, if you will. So yeah, there's definitely going to be this element where you are definitely in this sort of anticipatory mode, where it's like you kind of made your decision, and then you came to like this little cliff, if you will. I'm kind of seeing it as like with the wands, you have like the Two of Wands. So it's like the road diverges, and say you just decided to go right. So you go right, and there is the path kind of goes down, and then it comes around this embankment, and then you can see that there's like a beautiful cliff, and there's a wonderful view. But then you can see that the path delineates again, and it goes down into the valley, if you will. But before you go down to the valley, you want to kind of look at the view. You want to kind of like, wow, this is an incredible view. Let me get up here. Now you have to ask yourself, are you just going to be taking pictures of this view, or are you actually going to embrace and consume that view and consume that moment and just actually really be present? This is about being present. You know what I'm saying? He's not taking any selfies, right? He's not taking any pictures of the beautiful view or anything like that. He is taking the picture with his mind, and he actually is in the moment. That's what it really comes down to. So you are definitely about to embark on a whole new journey. You can feel it. You're at the precipice of this. Take some time to kind of marvel at the view, but also don't spend too much time there, because you got to get moving. You got to keep moving forward. So you can't just sit around forever. But why not enjoy the view while you see it, or while you have it? Because it is a beautiful thing. And I think it's going to be in those moments where we're going to get sort of like those aha moments. That's where the inspiration and the motivation comes too. So I got the solar plexus. This is about invoking your willpower. And really, once you when you invoke that willpower, and you really decide that I can do this, I will do this, I will move forward, can definitely be a very powerful thing. I love this. I love how each of these cards has like some sort of sun in there. You got the sun right here, which is surrounded by all of the butterflies. So this is transformative, metamorphic like energy. You have the sun back there in this Three of Wands. And then, of course, you have the solar plexus. It's going to be a very sunlight day. So I think it's going to be, definitely get into your heart more, and express yourself, express that joy, that creativity, that passion, and just know that things are really moving forward and things are very beautiful. The timing may feel a little weird. You may feel like you're at the sort of mercy of the universe. We all feel like we're kind of getting jerked around right now, but that's why we're being called still to go within our heart. And when we do that, we can find the peace within that. And then once we find that peace within, we'll be able to better navigate these intense, crazy energies. So, you know what I mean? So just instead, express yourself, be who you are, Find your tribe. You will find your tribe. And when you find your tribe, you will find that you can be that inspiration, but you also, in times of need, you'll find the shoulders that you need to lean on. So that is going to do it for your forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you would like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a lovely Hump Day Wednesday, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Peace.